We're live.
So, hello everyone. Welcome to our 12th live stream of X Growth. Today with us we have Ahmed. Uh, Ahmed is using not his full name but also his company's name, Might. That is interesting to me. So,
Sorry about that.
no, that's okay. You can definitely promote that here. So, today uh, we actually started a bit late. We got stuck in some meeting. So before like moving forward, we have to do an introduction. So we will go one by one. So with that, I will go first to Ahmed. Ahmed, take 30 to 60 seconds of the time and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ahmed. I'm running Might Group. I build custom solutions for my clients in innovative ways. An an AI first company, essentially, or I try to be entering this new world. Uh, that's me in a nutshell. And I guess we'll go deeper later.
Mhm. Well,
Awesome.
I will go now. So I'm Harsh Kumar. I am founder and CEO of InQP Technologies. I am a serial entrepreneur. I have founded three companies till now, and we we are also into custom solutions through one of my other companies, building custom solutions to our clients. And yeah, I'm these days I'm live streaming with few of my friends. So over to you, Yash.
Okay, so my name is Yash Rana, and I'm working with amazing people since every time. So yeah, what I do is I help them with personal branding and content creation. That's our meat and potatoes to help them with, and we actually help them to build custom strategies to achieve their goals with content. Either it's their getting business revenue and anything with that. So yeah, now we can go to our next speaker.
Sanjay.
Yeah, hello Ahmed and hello viewers. I'm Sanjay Thakur, currently pursuing my mechatronics. Like currently doing research on mechatronics. Yeah, and I love to play with robots. And, love to explore a bit of new things, new
Yeah.
skills. And
And
if anyone needs help with research guidance, I do that sometimes.
and
Yeah,
my most
so
beloved employee. Over to you, Abhinav.
Hey, I'm Abhinav and I'm a full stack developer and I also interacted with Ahmed. So I also work in Django and AI stuff.
Mhm.
Yes. So right now I'm working on some drone related technologies.
Okay.
Rock and roll.
Yes.
We, we can definitely explore that today in our live stream. So
Yes.
speaking of that, today our topic is cost and future of SaaS development. So we will start with our speaker, our guest speaker Ahmed. That Ahmed, what are your thoughts about that?
It's how do you say it? So I've been 10 years in the construction industry as a process engineer, reimagining how different departments communicate with one another, how we can connect the physical world to the digital world in a granular way, so that all the different kinds of data points that we need in the different departments. So I was in the field as a field engineer, project manager in the field as well, building large scale projects, hydroelectric dams, bridges, high rises, like 30 plus story high rises. And you can imagine there's a lot of data that's being handled and communicated between the different parties within the company, outside of the company, with your suppliers and vendors, with your clients, and particularly internally between the different departments, to actually
Mhm.
get a job from plan to where you can see it like in front of me right now. I'm watching downtown Toronto, and getting that up there in reality. And so I've always been interested in streamlining that process as much as I could. So right from 2014, which is when I started working in the industry, every job and every role I've had, I tried to optimize those processes and connect the dots between the different departments at a granular level, using basic things, Excel workbooks. Like, I didn't have the knowledge of coding. I couldn't write code. I'm not a software developer. I'm a civil engineer by trade. And we'll get into that in a little bit about how AI has impacted my life. And so I've built those kinds of systems, and it took a lot of time, and it takes a lot of time, especially around requirements gathering and understanding the needs of the clients, the granular, detailed needs of the clients. And so, anyways, fast forward 10 years later, I climbed the ranks. The last role I had was director of sales and estimating, where I built an end-to-end solution for taking client requirements around the structural project that needs to be bid on, and our knowledge and know-how, and getting that price and schedule to them as quickly as we could, while also being as competitive and consistent and safe in the pricing that we're doing. You can imagine, millions of dollar contracts. A small mistake of 5% on $100 million is $5 million of error. So being very granular in that estimate with the client, and also framing the agreements in a way that can protect our interests as much as we can. GPT, one of the last projects I was doing in the construction industry was in relation to AI and coming up with our own custom models, multiple models around connection engineering, predicting connected states of elements based on historical data of these connected elements. And we were able to get a grant a grant with one of the large grant suppliers here in Canada, and go through that process. And I had gone through that process with the company, and through that process, I got to see wow, the experts in the field, the expert AI companies, the rates that they're charging, and the cost that it required just to get that proposal down the line, just to be able to go and get the grant and get the funding from the government entities. And we're talking, tens of thousands of dollars, enormous amounts of money, not even counting the money internally. And when ChatGPT 4.0 came out back in April, I think, back in March or something like that, and it was around April is when I started using it and paid for the subscription. I was like, 3.5 didn't really do it for me, but when 4.0 came out, I was like, wow, we have a tiny brain that we can talk to. Now, it's the first time I'm getting exposed to it. So that's the beauty about OpenAI, and in my mind, is that they were the first to successfully be able to commercialize such a solution that democratized knowledge in a way. And it's true, it didn't work the same for everyone, because you had to prompt it in a certain way. You had to think in small steps. You had to be able to visualize the workflow or the data in a small enough manner to have it output things that were usable and useful to, for me, from a perspective of a non-coder, of someone who doesn't code. And of course, you don't know what you don't know. And it helped you discover what you don't know in a way. Or decide the kinds of things to focus on early on, or not, like scalability and then the modular wise. So at the beginning, I started building out scripts and workflows that were in one script. The one script had everything, all the logic, all the file handlings, all the commonalities that normally you would split out for maintainability. Everything was in one script. And in my mind, I was like, this is how I'm going to do it, because I don't know anything else, and it's working for me. I'm building solutions on my computer, automations for myself. And it's working. And then as time goes by, and as my knowledge grew, I started surrounding myself with people who do know more, and do understand the fundamentals, you can say. And so myself started learning how to build in a scalable manner. And I've adopted a framework for myself that's microservice based, so that my backend can be reused for all my clients, and I can pick and choose the microservices needed. Even the AI can pick and choose the microservices needed, and sort of transpose that into other projects for my clients. So GPT 4.0 came out, and I was like, hey, I'm going to I'm going to start my group. I'm going to start doing what I do, which is process engineering, learn what's missing in terms of me being able to take my solutions out into some place that I can distribute, and offer that service. Offer that service is what I've been doing as an employee for the company. Offer that to other companies, and that's what AI allowed me to do. It allowed me to be able to start my business. Allowed me to build my frameworks. Allowed me to build my contracts. Allowed me to now recently, the past 8 months, elaborate on a tool that allows me to translate client needs into instructions and estimates for myself and for the team of developers that I work with. and it's been a wild ride so far. So we're touching now the health sector, multi-level marketing, the real estate industry, the construction industry, and the software industry as well. Building out workflows internally for streamlining development in the way that we do it and the way that we know how. That's the beauty of it. It's really your tech your way, and that's the motto that we go with our clients as well. What do you want? Let us build exactly what you want. I don't need to add more fluffs and bells and whistles, just the functionality, the result, and making sure that the result is working. So that's me in a nutshell.
I have two questions. Since you mentioned that GPT 3.5 didn't work for you, but 4 did, what are the key differences did you find that actually working between those two? And the key differences, and when you said that it actually AI helped you to create your business. So what is Might? What is your business?
Okay, so the first one, the key differences, I would say, was the amount of work it could output in a single prompt, the amount of reasoning steps it can handle in a single request. It grew, and the amount of errors, like less amount of errors that I had to debug. So speed of which to get to a solution. So being result oriented, since I don't know how to code, right? Like I didn't study Python programming. So the way I see it is more like functionalities. So like the output that I want, I test it, it works, and it does what I need it to do. And then I focus on other aspects of things to surround myself for scalability and etc. But it's more the business logic. And that's the biggest issue. It's you can hire a developer who knows exactly how to code, but if he doesn't know the business and doesn't know the business logic and the details, you're spending more time describing and asking for details than the actual coding itself. Oftentimes these workflows can be really, really quick, but it's the understanding of the business logic. And that's what AI does now. It takes someone like me who has deep business knowledge in processes and specific processes that get the job done. The very minute details of getting something done, as complex as erecting a 50-story building, or as complex as building out a powerhouse for a hydroelectric dam. And now with AI, being able to translate that into specific requirements and actual specific steps to build out the workflow that's needed around that. And then what is my group? We're internally, what I am is that I use my experience in the construction industry, particularly, or just my know-how now in building simple AI pipelines, chain of thought reasoning loops, iteration loops, recursive logic loops. I visualize that data in my head in order to be able to work on a body of text or on a result, or no matter what size of output that is needed in a structured format. That's what we do. And to showcase that, MightCody.com is a platform that I've built. And the back-end logic of that is something that I coded early on this year. That allows us to input any requirements and output it into any size, depending on the needs of it. Is it 100% precise? No, but it's much better than writing everything out by hand, and it's much more visual. And the beauty of the system and the way I see it is that I want to be in control as much as I can. So it outputs data in an observable way, editable way, in a way that you have full control over it. So that's what my group is now. Yeah.
By the way, guys,
so where's the
before we move forward, I had tried that platform once. Ahmed shared that with me, and I loved that platform. Like still it is in, I believe it is in its beta phase, but I literally loved the platform. The reason is that I am working on a project, and I just written a very little prompt, and it came up with a particular project plan and a budget to do it. Okay, although that I am very skeptical about that budget, because in my experience that can be done in a much lower price, but still it was fascinating to see that.
Yeah. So my question was like, where is the core specialty of the functionality of this beautiful application from research to development phase?
Repeat the question. Sorry, there was a comment that went over your face. I'm very visual.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I see that comment. Yeah, so my question was like, where's the core specialty or the functionality from the research? When we build something, build a project, there are multiple phases like research phase, evaluation, review, up to the development, and then debugging, taking feedbacks, and all that. So there's a whole journey. So what do you think the best specialty of this? It helps in on which phase, or like if it helps in all the
So
phases, and
internally
how
at my
it
group,
looks like overall with journey. Yeah.
yeah. So at my group, really the goal and the pipelines that we're building in terms. So I have, let's say, in the last year and a half, maybe around 500,000 lines of code that represent business logic of what I want done with results that I like. Now we're aggregating this all together. And the idea of my group is really becoming an end-to-end solution. We'll be many like us. Like I'm working on this, but I won't be the only one working on this. And there's people much more in this field, much longer than I have been, that I've been even dreaming of this and working on this kind of stuff. But that's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter because we're going into a community-based future where my network and the people that have worked with me for the past 10 years, 20 years, they're going to work with me. Because I know their business, I know how it works, and I've provided a solution and showcased what we can do. And that's the beauty of today, is that anyone now can have a dream and think of something and bring it into existence with these AI systems. That's really the power that it's bringing to the individual level. And I think grassroots movements and grassroots communities are going to have a lot of power moving forward into the future. So my group is really an end-to-end from your brain, eventually from your brain to reality of whatever technology you want built. We say fuck SaaS. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't have been swearing, but in the sense, SaaS does not do everything you need it to do. It costs a lot of money. You're giving control to some other entity. It takes months sometimes for complex enterprise solutions to be integrated into your business. Why not just tell us what you need? Why not just speak and imagine it into existence? And that's what we're doing here at Might. We'll just build the technology that works for you and not the other way around.
Ahmed, as far as I understand, right now you are just using the OpenAI API, right?
Right now, I chose OpenAI, yes. And then internally in the platform, there's two models now technically that I'm using. Yeah, it's done in a way that I can plug to any, but yeah, I'm using OpenAI.
Like you mentioned now that like GPT-4, it came up with a higher output and reasoning. So since we are moving forward to more reasoning-based models like O1, O3, and even there are open source models like DeepSeek R1.
Using O1, O3, like in the sense why, like the way I built my business is that I'm able to plug into any model I want. If you're using very advanced models like O3, O1 right now, and trying to do work with that, you're kind of like landlocking yourself to OpenAI. So on my end, I've built my own reasoning systems. I've been thinking with flows since last year, where flows would take 30 seconds or 45 seconds to complete or 2 minutes to complete based on a certain outcome that I want performed. But I would suggest that where you stay as independent as you can. I'm choosing OpenAI just because I'm loyal to them. They're the ones that gave me access to democratized intelligence that got to my eyes at that point in time. A lot came afterwards, but they're the ones that did it. Other companies could have done it before. They chose not to for whatever reason, but OpenAI did. And for that, I'm grateful because it unlocks the full potential of the individual, which I think that's what everyone's trying to do now with their models too. But it's more a loyalty choice rather than.
So what are the difficulties did you face with O3, O1, or like there are even open source reasoning-based open source models?
O3 is not out. I haven't tried. I'm not part of the research team or anything like that for that. But O1, what are the difficulties that I faced? It's really refining, like breaking down your reasoning steps in ways that work. It's like a game. It's like how does one flow into the other? How do you iterate on things? How do you come to a conclusion that things are good enough? How do you have it ask, or how do you have it itself determine that it's not right, or that things are missing? And then how do you stop it at a point where it's good enough for it to be, let me review it now? And where do you inject human creativity and human in the loop, essentially? Because all my systems, I build it with human in the loop in mind. Because I fundamentally believe we'll always have humans in the loop. We'll just do bigger and bigger and bigger things, but we'll always be in the loop. And then so building those systems with that in mind as well, to do, there's some aspects of things that I'll fully automate, like research. Like if I just want to aggregate news and sort of have that summarized to me or whatever the case may be. I had built something like that a year ago Now you can do that with ChatGPT and schedule the task and kind of build a system around that, and it just does it now with their testing, right? But the kind of systems I like to build are systems of, if ChatGPT gets better, am I happy? If ChatGPT can do more, it's my baseline of where I measure, right? There's Anthropic, there's Gemini, there's Mistral now that just came out with their free coding model. There's DeepSeek out in China that also has some great models and everything. But I just base myself on the ones that gave me access to the knowledge. It's just a loyalty choice. Yeah.
But do you plan to include like other models like DeepSeek R1
Eventually,
or
but
Llama?
I'm one guy. So like, how do you say? You have to pick where you spend your time. So that's another thing that I made early on, is that, okay, OpenAI came out, and then a few months of learning how to code, setting up my environment, and building out some simple automations or RPAs or computer operators, I call them, like turning my computer into an intelligent robot. Other models were coming out, and then a lot of noise was happening around that. One of the early decisions I made early on was like, hey, I picked my horse. I'm going to build from that horse and focus on building the systems. A lot of people started building their own models. We're like 1 million plus models on Hugging Face now. It's great, cool. But I decided to spend my time using the existing models and building out systems that are usable in the real world, or using the existing models and building out my community and my network around that. So, I tell the clients too, like, now, if someone asks me the question, would you build your own and train your own model versus using APIs or using the compute that's being provided by the providers? I, from my personal opinion, I'd say just use the APIs, get your system built, and then use the data being generated by your system to train your own model at a later point in time as it gets easier and cheaper. Like we saw NVIDIA's chip coming into some computer for $3,000. You have like a 10x performance of the 4090. You can do a lot with that computer, and probably that computer can power a lot within an organization for this $3,000, and have a local server using that as the powerhouse or as the engine. So I mean, like, a lot of things are coming out that will make things even easier, and there's a lot of that I don't know still. That's for sure.
Since actually today Ahmed also have a very limited time, so I'm trying to extract the most I can from Ahmed on this stream.
I
Ahmed,
like the choice of words. Yeah, tell me. Yeah.
would you like, is it okay like if we try the Might platform for a few minutes on live?
Yeah, I can share my screen and try it. Yeah, why not?
I would like to Sanjay to contribute on this. He's a PhD. He's doing his PhD, so he can come up with a really good prompt.
Okay, well, Emma, that's a very interesting journey, and the way you said, like, you always dig
His
into
voice
all
is
the
Sanjay.
Your
I
voice is,
barely hear you. Yeah.
it's like
If I'm not audible,
it's like you are sitting in a bathroom.
Is he actually though? Sure.
okay, just let me do something. I don't know whether it will work or not.
Hmm.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good now. Very good.
So guys, this is the platform Ahmed Might group is working upon,
I'm
and
listening.
Okay,
Hey,
so
I'd like to build a property management platform for tenants, subcontractors, and landlords. I want to just streamline the operations between the three, from scoping out new tenants, signing the leases, planning out visits, getting the rental payments, scheduling, submitting and creating repair ticket requests. I want to enhance that with AI, actually, too. We'll use OpenAI API for this, and building a pipeline to sort of analyze the problem and come up with a nice report. That report, I want that displayed in a marketplace so that service providers can review them and bid on them if they want to, and schedule a visit with the landlord and tenant through a shared calendar. And I want to obviously have the property listing for the landlord to be able to see all his property details. I want also the ROI and rental income analysis and costing analysis. And I also want to track all expenses and associate them to the properties. So of course, we'll have different entities there. Help me ideate through this and add some more features that I may not have thought of to make this as wholesome, and we'll go from there. So essentially, the platform is mobile friendly as well. So the idea was for me to be able to go out, meet with people, network with people, and actually give them proposals on the spot. And that's what I've been doing the past couple of weeks, to get user feedback as well, and signing some new clients that are in the pipeline. So it does take some time working on making it
So
faster.
meanwhile, it's analyzing it. I want to ask, like, how did you came up with the name MITE, like MYTE? Like, what's the
Might,
significance?
because very early on, even the logo, but I changed my branding. I have to change the logo that's there, but it's individual little circles. And the way I see might is the power, the might that the individual will have, or the individual organization will have when they start adapting might philosophy, you can say. So that's how it started. There's also wordplay on mites, and in French as well, the mythe, because I'm in Quebec as well. It's a French-speaking province, and I wanted a name that can be both English and French to respect the laws here. And mites is like once we get into a business or into someone's world, and then we spread like mites and streamline as much as we can.
Phase 1
until we can eventually build an entire organization.
Thanks for sharing your vision.
So yeah, so we have our flowchart
Based on your
created.
input,
There's more
you're
features
building a
coming in, so I
strong
have full
property
control over
management
this as
platform
well.
designed to streamline operations for
Adding more, creating more
subcontractors.
links and dependencies. It's hierarchical, and just to be able to visualize the information, and I can start speaking to it and adjusting by voice. And the flow itself is done in a way that really takes the user by the hand, so I don't need to be there. Questions are being asked to them, and if they don't know, they can just have it self-reflect on it, and that goes into another loop where the system itself will start evaluating everything and providing further answers for the user. And then as you go through it, we can go through the steps, or I can show you one that's already done. It'll be faster. Give me a second. Property automation platform. Let's take this one since it's my go-to example that I use. So same thing, you go through the steps, which we're enhancing. Right now, I'm just building the skeleton. So for analysis, the vision of the, wait a second, why is it rethinking?
Yeah, actually it does that. Each time you go back to vision.
Each time I go back, I think I'm regenerating it every time. I have to fix that. Just check if the data is there already. If it is, then just display it. Yeah, it's displaying it again. Okay. Okay, so the vision, the business analysis. So in here, I want to enhance this much further. Right now, it's just one API call, but I plan on making this a system where you do the whole market research, the whole what's going on, some specific articles, like really inform the user on their idea and on their platform in a nice, and it's going to be a report that gets sent by email as well as the end, a more in-depth report. And you can really break down afterwards the data and control it. Add epics, add stories, add tasks. And this is what I use to essentially go and estimate. If I have full visibility on the project from end to end, then I can provide an estimate. And the estimate's an estimate. The business model we have, like many others, is a flat monthly subscription. But then, we work on their tasks in a transparent way. And they get full visibility on where we're at, what we're doing. So this is meant just to give a high-level summary. I'll give a concrete example. We're working with a hospital out of Montreal. They decided to take a chance and build out their own technology around that, and HIPAA-compliant, the encryption mechanisms as well. Like I said, I surround myself with also people who know they know. And the initial estimate was around 70,000, but we're 25,000 in, and the app is done. So like you say, yeah, it's going to cost a lot less money than you. Let me show you an example of let me email this to me, for example. So like, yeah, the estimates are highly conservative. They're much cheaper than what people would think, though, even though they're conservative. It's just as time goes by and things get faster to code out with AI systems and with your own internal, way of working, things will just be faster and faster and faster. And eventually, I'm hoping that systems can become commodities. And there you go. Not on this one. On this one. So you get yourself an email from me. an executive summary, the budget, and on the actual attachments, you have your flow chart, you have your roadmap, detailed roadmap. So you like, and this is, I provide this for free, right? So this the value of this, because I've gone through this with other tech companies in the previous job that I was working before I started my company, it's like $40,000-$50,000, and I'm I'm giving this for free, and then a proposal from me saying, hey, let's move forward, and granularly their features, description of that, how much time, how much cost approximately, and it's just to provide, like, to remove the black box, and to also provide them a lot of information and details and value for as little as possible. In my case, for free. It's the way I handle my Cody is that it's my. Were you guys seeing that? It was only showing this so far. Oh, sorry.
We are only seeing the Might Cody.
Okay, give me a second. Let me share the entire screen then instead.
Okay.
So by the way, like with this, which utility lever it's like pulling and greatly supporting? Is it the speed of development, cost, accuracy, or the efficiency of the development?
Well, I mean, you guys are developers, right? How long?
Yeah.
But I mean, you might be new age. You might be using new tools and everything to make things faster. But the process of understanding your clients' need and presenting them with a proposal, it takes time. Usually, you've got BAs that go through it, and a lot of software development companies are still writing in Excel sheets and writing out using templates, but then adjusting and going through it, etc. This is just the speed. This is my sales and estimating department. That's why I do it for free, because it's a cost of me. Like, instead of hiring a team that supports me just to do bids, like I'm connected, let's say, to Upwork.
I will go first on this. So we have two developers here. One is using some new age tools. Another one is using Django. So the thing is the kind of workflow, and the reason I like Ahmed the most, the reason is that in my company's workflow, we focus more on the proposal. We take most of the time on the proposal and less time on development. Okay. And when it comes to Ahmed takes less time in proposal. It's kind of reverse. So it's like we are kind of made for each other in that sense. So
Yeah.
but before I speak upon that, I would like to know Abhinav's, because he is a full stack developer. Point of view.
Actually, it is quite time saving thing, and I have not seen that platform yet, but it is interesting, and soon it will be helpful too.
By the way, I have a question. Like, in terms of creating a proposal, and when we build proposal with teams, and when we take time to build proposal, and there's this saying like great things takes time, and but it doesn't matter, like if you're doing it fast, that's good, if it's giving us a really good output. So the question is like, what's the impact on the creativity? Is like, when we are
Well,
doing it.
that you saw how I created this proposal. It's a way of me taking what's in my mind. So imagine someone who knows more than me about the construction industry, or about the steel business. Maybe someone who knows about sales, and maybe someone who knows about sales specific to a certain industry. They can use my Cody and speak their direct knowledge into it, and that gets structured into a structured data set ready to act upon. So it's all about who uses it. It's like ChatGPT or like Anthropic or like
Yeah,
Claude.
so we can also brainstorm ideas with it.
Back and forth, back and forth. You edit the information that's being generated. So it's a creative tool. It's not meant to replace the business analyst. It's meant to make one business analyst who's really good into 50. And we're going to need it for what's coming. Like, the whole world is to be rebuilt digitally. So we need to.
Ahmed, you studied civil engineering, right? And you then started to dig into this AI world. So, like, how do you feel that this AI is transforming the traditional civil engineering practices?
How am I feeling that AI is? Can you repeat the question?
Okay, let me reframe the question in a very questioning way. Okay, how do you think AI is transforming traditional civil engineering practices?
AI is transforming
Civil.
traditional everything. So coders that know how to code but don't have business sense, is one thing. Someone with business sense but doesn't know how to code is one thing. What AI does, it bridges the gap. Someone who has the business sense can now start coding business logic that would take a programmer days to do, but this guy who knows nothing about coding can build out business logic in hours, and then give that to coders who know what they're doing to tie it up and scale it and make it work. Now, the problem isn't about APIs and routes and handlers and workers and how you're doing asynchronous operations to your database, blah, blah, blah. All this is mechanical. We got this down now. And being creative with this, it's the business logic that's hard. And that's what AI is doing. An engineer who knows how to do engineering is great. Someone who's very creative and an architect who can design things that are super nice, but without having the structural aspect of things in mind, that's great too. But AI now bridges the gap. An architect that can visualize things that is extremely like, whoa, but wouldn't be able to tie it to the actual structural aspects of things, can use AI now to sort of ideate through this and start thinking about this in a more structural way. And an engineer who doesn't have the creative mind, who has very deep technical skills and can imagine things that are impossible for the human being to imagine, that even softwares have a hard time modeling, but he can get that going, can use AI to bridge the gap between his technical side of things and creativity. It's going to change absolutely everything. A doctor who's a doctor who went and became a generalist can now look at a problem and probably come up with solutions and diagnostics right there on the spot instantly without having to spend 50 minutes researching or asking a bunch of colleagues or whatever the case may be. It's going to impact absolutely every industry, every cognitive worker. It's not just the engineers or just the software developers. And now an engineer, I'll give you another example. An engineer who's working with like MATLAB and he's working with like these flows, like they want to automate their own workflows as well. But engineering is algorithms. Engineering is like highly complex. So if you're going to talk to a programmer and start spending 2 years explaining to them the physics behind it, now this engineer can speak his mind and just get that stuff built and get the workflows built that produce the output that he needs. Is it scalable? Is it connected properly? Is it properly segmented and modular? Most probably not. But who cares at that point? He has a solution that works for him. And if he needs to scale it, the business logic now is there, and he can surround himself with the right people to scale it and modularize it. That's the beauty. That's what AI is doing. It's just going to shuffle all of this, essentially. It's going to shuffle the way we do things.
Also, there is one more beauty to it. The reason is when we do something for a very long time, we realize that we had read a lot of books, but the actual knowledge is actually very short. Like everything I know about programming, I can summarize that thing in just 2 pages. Okay, more than 2 pages it will never require. So, and even other topics, my entire knowledge is like just 8 pages, A4 size pages, and I have written those notes and I use those notes forever. Just imagine how hard it is to actually streamline just 2 pages from your life. Not so. And here's the thing. So when what AI allowed us to do is to actually give that context. We can give that streamlined process context to the AI, and it can just follow that pattern and come up with really, really good solutions for us. Because in the end, it's all streamlined. Like when I code, I have a certain way of writing code. I know that if I will write this code in this way, I will never face these kind of errors. So in that way, with time, we become faster. And when we teach the same thing to AI, now we are 1,000 times more faster in that.
Exactly.
So, and that is the same thing what Ahmed is doing with proposal, I am doing with development here. By the way, guys, before we we have a very short amount of time, we will go around for 5 more minutes. So we will definitely take our thoughts and question, but we should quickly address few people from the audience. So Sonny Savage says hi to us. Sonny Savage is very active in our group, so kudos to you, brother. Jordel had joined, and Jordel also says hello. Now I don't know who is Chill and Thrill Zone, but rock and roll, buddy.
Rock and roll. I say that all the time. Rock and so someone that knows me. I don't know who they are, but rock and roll, chill and thrill.
Yeah. So Sonny Savage is again giving us kudos. And now we have I had an aha moment. Oh, we are glad, Jordan, that you have
An
an
aha
aha
moment.
moment. When I learned you could ask AI to help you write a great prompt. Love the conversation. We are basically, guys, just for an announcement, Jordal is our next speaker on Monday's stream, same time. So make sure to, we will definitely share all those templates. Make sure to join us on Monday.
Yeah.
And here is someone we both know, Manthan Patel. We are coming in development industry with our automation. Definitely, I will see you in market, Manthan. So kudos to
So,
all of you
Ahmed,
who have commented.
okay.
Rock and
Yeah,
roll.
Ahmed, I have one last question. Like, since you use so many AI tools for building your things, so I just want to ask one thing. Like, is there any problem that you are still facing with the AI that you are using for your like, projects, software, or whatever that?
Are there still problems that I'm facing with the APIs that I choose to
Yeah.
use?
Yes. Or you feel like if this feature is available there, I could have been like become more productive, like could have been use it, like could have gained more profit from out of it. What do you feel?
Could I have gained more profit from? I don't understand the line of question. Can you try and reframing it?
Okay, okay, let me reframe it. Okay, the AI models that you are using, it has certain properties, but what extra properties you need to make it more useful for your work? I think that.
So guys, like in my end, the source of electricity that I use, it can be any source. What I build internally then are business models, you can say, or business processes. I don't know how to call them, to be honest, but whatever the output is, then I work with that output and build it into a system that gets my result that I need. It doesn't matter where I plug into. I can plug into Mistral, I've tested it out. I can plug into Anthropic, I've tested it out. It's just not what I choose to do. I choose the partner that I'm with due to the knowledge that they've given me. Am I open to other sources of electricity? Yeah, sure. I'm always
Okay.
open to that.
Okay.
NVIDIA, essentially, it's pretty interesting what they've got going on. I haven't explored that deeply, but I'd be curious to see, can I plug into NVIDIA directly rather than using a wrapper of NVIDIA, and see what I can do with them directly, and how complicated would that be? But it takes time, right? You have to learn this. I have to sit down. And so it's all part about surrounding yourself with the right people, getting the right people on the bus, the source of electricity, of intelligence that I pipe through into businesses. That's a choice. That's a choice you make, but it's what you do with this electricity. If you're wiring it wrong, then you might have a short circuit. It's all about how you
And a
wire it.
blast. Yes.
That I'm expert on.
You're expert on breaking keyboards and
I
blast.
had once I was in my college, I had done a blast in my chemistry lab. So, and the funny part is that then in the end, when I saw that okay, I have done a lot of damage, I had to play the victim card just so that they don't ask me to pay them.
So
Rock and roll, guys.
how well you played?
Well, I believe I played pretty good. I didn't pay them a single rupee. But
Didn't you ask for compensation for your loss?
well, I was like, okay, I told them that I am a
Oh,
very
you
generous
forgive
person.
them. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
Forgiveness
cool.
is the way to go. Always forgive.
Yeah,
It's
like
better.
they were about to ride on me. I was like, where was the lab in charge when I was doing that? It's your fault. So,
Rock and roll, guys. Okay,
so with
so
that, guys, today we are about
Ending
to
on a sweet
close our
note.
stream, but
Yeah.
definitely feel free to communicate with Ahmed. Ahmed is very active in our group, and his X profile is also very active. And I believe that Ahmad can be reached out also on LinkedIn, and just type his full name and you will definitely find him. And definitely make sure to retweet, subscribe, share, whichever platform you are in. And let us know your thoughts, ask questions in the comments. And with that, we are closing the stream for today in 3, 2, 1.